have...
the Christmas hat.
Yo, Ryan, good to see you.
When I was trying to steal his picture, the only time he posted his picture was the Christmas hat version.
Tankman made the Christmas hat version. Yo, Ryan, welcome, it's good to have you. And you guys, welcome to the Injustice 2 stream. It's good to have you guys. I'm going to be playing as your boy Darkseid, because there's only one Darkseid in the multiverse, which means I'm just playing as the actual Darkseid, because there's no other option. Let's see.
I mean, of course there's other options. Darkseid can clone himself.
Can Darkseid clone himself? When has Darkseid ever cloned himself?
And he could. Think of all the clones that are in the, like all these Superman clones. Darkseid can just do that. Create a clone army.
Wait a minute.
And go fend his ass.
I'm pretty sure I already own Darkseid. It's like click X to purchase Darkseid. I know I have this dude. Don't cut
buy it again, because that's how capitalism works.
Nigga, hold on a second. I have Darkseid. Let me see what's going on.
Yeah, but do you have like the clone of Darkseid, which is you know, more money?
So when has Darkseid ever cloned himself?
Essentially the same thing, but one costs more money.
Well, let's see.
You have to buy it again.
Also,
when has he ever cloned himself?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it seems like Desaad's always like doing that. So you could just clone
It's
Darkseid
him disguising
and not
himself.
have Desaad do that thing. And that would probably like be more effective. Like imagine all the times they struggle to fight Darkseid or whatever, but if it was like tools.
Do I not own Darkseid?
Maybe the Darkseids would try and like kill each other, like they'd fight or something, you know, like lemon grab or something. But like, you know, that's a price Darkseid is willing to pay.
I thought I had Darkseid, but I went to the PlayStation store, and they were like, "You want to buy him?" The fuck?
Yeah, but you have
I thought we all established that there's only one Darkseid.
There is only one Darkseid.
Receipt.
I gotta check to see if I own him. Nerd Tanker said, Jet. Yo, Nerd Tanker, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. I hope you and Phoenix are having a happy fun day. Rap King said, Nick, can I join the Discord call? Yeah, join the Discord. Hop in the Discord call. Hit it up. It's open everybody. So I guess I can't play as Darkseid, because I thought I'd already bought him. I'm not about to buy him right now. I'll buy him later. But yeah, there is one Darkseid. That was the whole point of the stream, as I was gonna play as the one Darkseid, because I think it's funny that that's a thing.
Black Lightning.
So I'm gonna play as Black Lightning instead. Wait, hold on. I don't want to play against just the computer. I want to do like arcade mode. Let me get his like story. Oh, but Volt Godzilla, how's everybody doing tonight?
Fantastic. How about you?
And as always, thank you for asking. I'm glad to hear that you are doing well as well. Let's see. Which one is like the story
I have
mode?
song.
He has song, he says. Seemingly trapped in a time loop, Earth 1154 is exceedingly stable and has been deemed a useful location for carrying out combat training. Which one of these is the story mode? I know that, like, in the multiverse is where you do the story mode thing. I think it's on Battle Simulator or whatever. But I don't really remember how this works. I guess I'll do this one and see if it's story mode, and we'll play through Black Lightning's story.
Black Lightning.
Let's see. Hey, I see Rap King is also in the Discord call. Welcome, my dude. Good to have you. Let's play on hard difficulty. I can kinda hear you. Hey, it's good to finally be able to talk to you, my dude. Welcome to the Discord call. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. I'm gonna try and hold my laptop higher up so it'll be easier to hear you guys.
Here comes 1.21 gigawatts.
This could have serious consequences.
No problem,
Think
my dude.
about your future, kid.
Begin.
such a thing as a toxic friend. Toxic friends, you said? Oh, toxic parents. I think your parents definitely can be toxic. My mom, in a recent phone call, told me that sometimes she just likes to argue. Like, she apologized for arguing because she just was starting an argument, like, just because, like, just to do it. So yeah, I think parents can be toxic shit for sure. I missed the last thing you said. I'm sorry, buddy. Oh, just been playing? I mean, I suppose. Like, because I'm not sure if she means... I don't think she means that what she was saying in the argument wasn't, like, how she felt, but more that, like, she was inciting an argument just because she wanted to have one, which I feel like is kind of unnecessary, but I was fine with it. I learned a lot more about mom's opinions on stuff. We were talking about, like, politics, which normally I don't do. Unless I'm talking to Ryan, because all he really talks about a lot of times. Also, I just got my ass whipped. What were you saying about him? I'm sorry.
Firestorm wins.
Oh man, hold on. I'm gonna hold the laptop like up to my ear. Okay, could you repeat the last thing you said? The best way to deal with a toxic parent. So, that's interesting, because now that I, like, don't live with my parents, it's kind of like a different scenario. Because the way that I would deal... Well, to be honest, the way to deal with a toxic person, let's say regardless of whether or not they're your parent, just like a person, treat everyone the way that you would want to be treated, with, like, respect and kindness. So even if people don't treat you the best,
Think your
I
powers can
feel like
outshine mine?
it's harder for people to treat you badly if you treat
That's
them
what's called an alternative
like, nicely,
fact.
if that makes sense. They still might treat you wrong, but you could argue two wrongs don't make a right. Like, it's fine for you to still just, like, keep the moral high ground in any situation where you're dealing with someone who is toxic. And you can always limit the amount of time that you spend with someone. Like, if someone does kind of make you feel bad, you don't have to go out of your way to spend more time with them than you necessarily want to. Now, when you live with them and they're your parents, I kind of get that sometimes you can't really escape your parents. You know, if they want to interact with you, they very easily can. But as long as you're given the trust, like, if they don't, like, force you to interact with them, then you can always choose to interact with them less if that would potentially make things better. Do you feel like that's, like, good advice for your situation? Wrong. I'm not able to help in that regard. Also, I just feel like I am bad at this too. Did I not play on hard difficulty before? That might be the case. I did? Oh, I'm getting ripped right now. Thank you for the good wishes, Lord. What were you saying, Rap King? I'm not sure if it's like, if the microphone's quiet, or if you're not as close to the microphone as you can be, but I can only, like, barely hear you.
You have the ability to turn him up on this.
I can. Okay. I'll right
Yeah,
click
click on his name, and then you'll see something that looks like a volume slider. It should be at like 100.
Can you turn it up beyond 100? Like, how do you make it higher than 100?
100 is like in the middle of the sliders, so you would just slide it past that.
So on my computer, 100 looks like it's like the top of the slider. I don't know if it's because I'm on a Chromebook or something, but it's showing him turn like all the way up.
Yeah, so see for me, I could turn it up to 200%.
200%? Jesus Christ. So, I wish I could do that. Understandable. And being in the chat, I guess, considering the mic situation, sometimes is probably better. A lot of times when we have a lot of people talking in the voice chat, it can be harder to moderate the YouTube chat, like to be able to watch and read messages. I do apologize for that. I'm trying to get better at being able to balance both whenever I can. Let's see. Speaking of both, Kitty said, hey, watching Invincible and watching you. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying Invincible, and thank you for tuning into the stream. I appreciate it. I'm just getting my ass whooped in Injustice 2.
Oh, by the way, now I am caught up on Invincible.
Sweet. I would ask to discuss it, but I imagine we'd actively
Here comes
spoil it for Kitty
1.21
because we know that
gigawatts.
she's like still
This
watching
could have serious
while watching
consequences.
this.
Way to think about your future,
Yeah, I
kid.
would suggest.
Begin.
But I am caught up, so what she's caught up to, we can actually start.
I haven't watched it.
Ryan's like, we still gotta wait for me. That's fair.
I mean, no,
So we can't got the new episode. I'm not going to speak.
Understand. We appreciate the no spoiler life. That's an interesting question. I would say yeah. Similar to Young Justice, while the show may focus on like a younger hero who is a...
I don't know what do you mean by similar.
Well, I was gonna...
What regard?
That's fair. I was gonna say some regards in which they are similar. But you're right, it could be like more specifically stated. Similar in what way, right?
Burn to shine. Feel the fury of firestorm.
Yes, that is most certainly true. Invincible is a high school student. Maybe I just need to watch it.
I've also started watching Superman.
Ooh, okay. I don't have a lot of friends who've been watching that. I'm a little behind, but I have been enjoying it. What do you think of Superman and Lois, and how much have you seen so far?
So I believe right now I'm on episode 3, and so the way they have Luther set up, I'm not saying spoilers or anything, but I don't necessarily know if I like it.
It's interesting what you're talking about, because I know what you are referring to in terms of Superman and Lois. One question that I have that's directly related to the Luther thing, but without spoiling anything, I actually don't know if it'd be considered a spoiler. But, okay, do you think Superman and Lois is in the same continuity as the other superhero shows on the CW, or is it supposed to be like its own reality?
Same actors that we saw in the other seasons, it's the same actors that we saw like in the other CW shows, so.
Right.
So I think in a way it's no kind of same
So what's weird about it being like the same continuity is the Luther situation that we're vaguely talking about, how it's kind of different from what we've seen before. Do you think they're trying to imply that like this Superman story is somehow outside of the normal CW continuity, or does this version of Luther coincide with the other version of Luther that we already know exists and actively are seeing in shows like Supergirl?
See, that's the weird thing, is I want
Ready
to
to
say
get
it's
school?
like inside.
Got the shell to back
like,
that up.
Here's your first lesson.
But
Begin.
it's like we haven't gotten any type of like reference to like Supergirl or anything at all. All Superman. It's a little weird to say the least to how they're doing it right now. I don't really know like just to assume like basically if it's like actual like the CW. It's just odd to say the least.
Agreed. I would say
Small thing. I would say that's a big enough spoiler for you to like really comprehend about it.
I would say that it becomes more and more like Smallville the more you watch it. Without giving any spoilers away, it starts taking things that are familiar to fans of Smallville and kind of incorporating them into the show.
It was weird. It's not the same Smallville. Like, definitely, it's far off from Smallville. That's for sure. But it's definitely got like a feel to it, like a certain aspect to it that does definitely feel very
I guess better is debatable, because Smallville is more or less about like the rise of like Superman from Clark Kent into being Superman. This is about like Superman managing like his family life and the complications of Superman having a family.
It's like Superman closing the Superman chapter, opening the chapter. Smallville that has to do with his family. So it's like if you take the concept of Smallville still, but it's like the teenage man with an adult member of the family basically have kind of the same show a little bit of difference. I think like the main thing that threw me off was seeing Lana. I wasn't expecting
Michelangelo wins.
I just wasn't expecting to see her. I don't really know.
Get over here.
Interesting. Ooh, that's a good question. Volt, you want to answer that first? Something you don't like about Superman and Lois?
So I will say it does feel a little bit cheesy at times.
You're just gonna end up shell-shocked.
Think you can handle a few volts?
I think
Begin.
the main thing I don't like about Superman and Lois is right now. I think there's
Also doesn't like Omni-Man's mustache.
well, that's a different there's a story behind why I don't like to like there's tons of stories that just don't make sense. Mustache for a character.
There's nothing wrong with Omni-Man.
But all the way costume design.
So I have two things in regards to that. For one, I don't think there's anything that I super dislike about Superman and Lois other than maybe the fact that I can't tell if it's in CW continuity or not. And two, whatchamacallit? Oh, Omni-Man's mustache. Do you know that Superman shaves by using his heat vision because like normal razors can't cut his hair? How the fuck would Omni-Man shave if he doesn't have heat vision?
Yeah, he keeps it like super square, just on his other lip, like
It's the third
you
thing.
expect.
Does his superpowers apply to his hair? The obvious answer is yes.
Gerard said, hey Jen, you Gerard, welcome to the stream, it's good to have you. Feel free to join the Discord chat if you want to talk to us directly in the call. We're talking about Invincible, Superman and Lois. Nerd shit, you partake.
Omni-Man's mustache.
Omni-Man's mustache, for sure. Definitely.
I can definitely see it. It looks like it's popular enough.
Black Lightning wins.
I like it more than Super. Oh, I missed last name. My bad. Maybe as many as like Arrow had, if people like really like it.
How many seasons did Arrow have?
More than it probably should have.
I mean, I don't think Arrow should have, yeah, Arrow shouldn't have had that many seasons, but I really can't see, like, Superman and Lois getting more than 4 seasons, because, like, The Flash is up at 7. And it's
You broke all the rules, Cyborg.
Getting your city nuked will do that to you.
Some of us never lost hope.
Yeah, Arrow,
Begin.
I love
Got the
I got multiple things. For one, Gerard said, did you watch the Lex Luthor versus Dr. Doom death battle? I did. It felt kind of like it would be a stop for Doom, to be honest. Only because of all the crazy shit that Doom does. Because he's like a high-tech dude and a magic guy. But also, I'm trying to see if I can beat the Cyborg. I'm not particularly good at Injustice 2, is what I'm realizing. But also, it's interesting to think about how powerful Lex Luthor actually is. I hear a lot of people like to compare him to like Batman, because he's like a billionaire genius dude, but he like fights for the bad guys. But you have to understand that Lex Luthor is like regularly fighting Superman, and not just like intellectually fighting Superman, like getting suits and shit to like go like toe to toe and like punch Superman and other like Superman level characters. So I don't think he's a slouch by any means. But
I can definitely see him being stronger than Batman. Maybe not like martial arts like style, like he doesn't have as many martial arts styles under his belt, but I think basically just strong.
Instead of fighting fear, you embraced it.
We're talking about like
I don't have a choice.
definitely.
Time for
I
some
think
shock
like
therapy.
one thing that people always like to talk about is how like many times Batman and Superman have fought, and people would like to say that like Batman could whoop Superman like any day. But the fight of like genius, like normal human versus Superman literally is happening all the time in just like normal Superman books against Lex Luthor, like kind of thing. So I don't know. And Lex has like dedicated his whole life like killing Superman and shit. Like if it was that easy for like Batman to beat Superman, just think about how like someone like Lex, who like knows Superman probably better than like anybody else, like can do against Superman or really any other foe if he was to like apply his intellect to doing so. Gerard said it was a mismatch, like Optimus Prime and Gundam War, like where you pick like two characters who just really don't go together, or aren't like comparable. Gerard also said Lex Luthor rarely, if ever, beats Superman, let alone the entire Justice League. Doom, on the other hand, has been the Avengers a handful of times. I guess I would have to look into like how many times the Justice League ever quote-unquote
Pretty
loses.
sure Doom has beaten like the Avengers and the
You broke all
Fantastic
the
Four
rules,
like at the
Cyborg.
same time.
Getting your city
I
nuked
mean,
will do
Doom
that to
has
you.
become like a
Some
little
of us
like
never
god
lost
of
hope.
existence before,
Begin.
during like Secret Wars or whatever. Doom has like some really impressive feats, no lie. Gerard said he's a lot like Gilgamesh in the sense that writers use his ego to nerf him. That's fair, for sure. I mean, you can say the same thing about Doom, though. I do feel like Doom has like a problem with being like almighty in his own mind, and people taking advantage of that. You're right. I have indeed. I've actually done like videos talking about SCP stuff before. I haven't gotten super into it though. Oh, I'll tell you. So SCP is like a wiki kind of thing, where a whole lot of people will write their own entries about these like monsters, as if they were collected by a Men in Black style agency called SCP, or Secure, Contain, Protect. But these like monsters are essentially accessible for anyone to use in anything they want. So you see a lot of people make like cartoons talking about the monsters, or writing their own stories, or even making games starring them. So it's pretty cool. And Cyborg got me once again. I probably need to be using my Superman key, but it sucks that I've been using it as like a crutch. Gerard said, Doom is who I meant. And then he said, SCP is a creepypasta collective. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, who's my favorite monster? From SCP or in general?
Instead of fighting fear, you
Favorite
embraced
SCP
it.
monster.
I don't have a choice.
I don't honestly look
Time for
at a
some
lot
shock
of
therapy.
SCP stuff.
Begin.
Favorite SCP monster would probably be there's one that has a big eyeball that kind of is known to be like friendly towards people. It's almost like a little like monster cat. And the way that they describe it is that like even the people who work at SCP will like hang out with the little monster because it seems to be relatively like harmless. I don't remember what it's called, but I remember thinking that like having a little pet monster would be interesting. Gerard said it's like a collaborative open source fan fiction. I mean, it's interesting to call it a fan fiction because that implies that there's some like established canon and that this is like a derivative thing. But this is its own established canon. So I would say it's more like a collaborative, like open source fiction. Like without the fan aspect necessary. Any idea if like fleshed out in like an interesting way can make like a good TV series. So I would say yeah, depends on how you write it. I feel like it would be a lot like a Men in Black style show. Because that more or less is what it is. It is just telling Men in Black stories but not telling Men in Black. Yeah, SCP's hella popular. I could have won. I should have sued. I'm gonna have to find
The cyborg wins.
Gerard said, yeah, you've got a good point. Let's see. What am I thinking about? I wish there was a similar thing to SCP, but for superheroes. I think that'd be pretty cool. Gerard said in before the Netflix SCP adaptation.
You begin.
I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened. I mean, that is what Heart of Heroes was. I guess I'm saying, what if there was like an open... I think there is an open source superhero wiki. So I guess that already is a thing. I guess I'm saying, if only that was as popular as stuff like SCP. I need to remember how to do the taser grab. Not the one that I've been doing that's like up in the air. That one's really fucking annoying. Yeah. What's the one? Yeah, that one. That one. Get him off you, Black Lightning. Fry a circuit. Gerard said, please stop leasing to the computer jet. Oh, trust I. That's what I want to do too. We're in the same boat. I'm trying to remember. How does Raiden do the abe abe where he like flies across the screen? So I need to be doing that. Black Lightning, please stop getting jumped on the sidewalk. Okay, we got this. If Cyborg were to win now, I'd be really fucking down to it. Kill him. Hit him once. No, you shouldn't allow him to do anymore. Stop. Just kill him now. Just kill him. Thank you. Got him. It's weird that they describe this Earth that I'm fighting on as like a Earth that's stuck in a time loop. To be the Earth where like the story stuff happens. Gerard says the comeback, the job. It would have sucked if I had jobbed that, because I had a hard lead there. Oh, I missed the last thing you said. So I'm currently playing as Black Lightning. I think this is the story mode, question mark? We'll find out soon enough. If I get to the end of this and it doesn't show his story cutscene, I'm gonna be like, I guess I fucked around for like 30 minutes or whatever. We'll see soon. Is Black Lightning on the what? Underrated? I don't know, honestly, because I don't read a lot of Black Lightning. I really like characters like Static Shock, but to be honest, there are so many Black Lightning-based characters, it's not even fun. For some reason, when a writer creates like a Black superhero, they like to give them lightning powers, like just because. Black Vulcan, I think, has some untapped potential. He's a character from the Super Friends that was created because the creator of Black Lightning said, hey, don't put Black Lightning on the Super Friends. And then they said, fuck you, we'll do it anyways, and we'll just change his name and his costume. But Black Vulcan has no backstory. Like, we have no idea who he actually is. And they could just give him a backstory. Like, you could really make Black Vulcan into whatever you want. because he's a design of powers rather than an actual character. But then that means you can just make him a character if you want to. So I feel like there's potential. I do think Black Lightning is really, like, legitimately. But Black Lightning, I don't know if he's underrated necessarily. I mean, does Black Lightning even have, like, really interesting rogues? I know that he fights, like, Tobias Whale or whatever. But who gives that many fucks about Tobias Whale? And I know that he's, like, a member of the Outsiders. Don't die to Cheetah. Fucking kill Cheetah right now. Thank you. I was about to be so upset, dude. And just kill him. Okay. Gerard said, Kitty said, would you do reviews on video game cutscene movies? Where you review the story of a game rather than the, equip that gear piece, yeah. Where you review the story of a game rather than necessarily just, like, the gameplay or music or stuff like that. I could, to be honest. Would you guys want to see stuff like that? I mean, I can tell that Kitty does. That's why she's asking about it. But would you guys want to see me review the, like, story of a video game? What kinds of video games would you want me to review the stories of?
My collection is without peer.
Knowledge should help, not harm.
Begin.
Alright, yeah. That's definitely something that I could do. Speaking of reviews, I don't do a lot of, like, episode by episode reviews, but I know a lot of YouTubers who do stuff like that. Like, in the same way that we'll, like, hang out and talk about, like, the latest, like, Invincible episode. I don't really do videos where I'm like, so in Invincible episode 5, I really liked it, like that. But is that something that you guys would be interested in seeing? I'm not sure if I would do it, necessarily, but I want to know you guys' thoughts, like, if you guys would want to see it.
Brainiac wins.
Oh, hit me up, my dude. Oh, I got you, my dude. So, his question, because I don't think you guys heard what he said. He said when you turned 18 and you moved out of your parents' house, how'd you get the money to live on campus? So when I went to college, I at first used, like, student loans, and my dad actually helped pay for, like, some of the dorm cost stuff, to, like, pay my way through. I later got a scholarship, like, halfway through college, and the stipend money from that scholarship paid off the student loans and then paid for the rest of my college. So at the end of the day, it was almost like I just didn't have student loans. Like, the scholarship, like, almost retroactively paid for my education. But I had to kind of go in not knowing if something like that would necessarily, like, happen. You know, I had no guarantee. Also, bringing it so bad. I had no guarantee that I would be able to, like, pay off the student loans or, like, get a scholarship. Please grab me. Stop listening. I did not work during high school, like, at all. I didn't work during college either. I had one summer internship, because my scholarship, like, demanded that you, like, do one summer internship. Kitty said Death Stranding was unique. I could potentially do, like, a story mode review of, like, Death Stranding or whatever. How long is it? Some of these cutscene movies are, like, longer than normal. Gobo Gaming says it's been a long time. Welcome, Gobo Gaming.
My collection is without peer.
How are you doing?
Knowledge.
Begin.
But no, I didn't work during high school to save up money or anything like that. Brainiac leaped straight over. Whoa! How do you block? Is that a low attack, I guess?
Bad Wolf said he reviews a Stranding type game.
Stranding type game. How many Stranding type games are there?
Your pain brings no pleasure.
Bad Wolf said one.
I work for the Center of Cybersecurity Research and Education, and we contract with the government. So it's one of those yes and no things. Like, technically, the money comes from the government, but that's not my like, direct employer, if that makes sense. I'm a cybersecurity research engineer. Global Gaming said, I'm good. Yo, I just got COVID and I just got better. I'm glad to hear that you got better, Global Gaming. I'm sorry to hear that you were sick. But it's good to hear that you're feeling better now. Kitty said Injustice had such an amazing story. So Kitty, have you read any of the Injustice comics? Because the story goes far beyond just what you see in the game. I believe right now there's an Injustice prequel comic out called Injustice Year Zero. But I've heard that some of the comic stuff is like really crazy. Like that the games are really just the tip of the iceberg. Has anyone here read the Injustice comics? Kitty said, I'm glad you're better, Joker.
I know your thoughts.
How do I deal with this? Actually, I deal with earnings. I missed the last thing you said, right? My fault. I'm listening closer now. Oh. Do I like my job? Oh, yeah, most definitely. So, when I was younger, I had a lot of different things that I wanted to be when I got older. But it took me a while to determine that I wanted to do cybersecurity. I decided upon cybersecurity because I like programming, and for the longest time I wanted to be a police officer. My mom actually worked for the sheriff department, and my dad's a computer scientist, and I decided that the best way to kind of get the job that fits me would be to combine
My collection is without
my
peer.
two different interests into one, which happens to not only be like a field that's in high demand, but also a field that my city is trying to become the capital of. Like, Huntsville is trying to be the cybersecurity capital of the world, aka Rocket City. I think most people call it Huntsville, but I prefer our city's nickname. We have the Space and Rocket Center. I think Rocket City's a term sounds like a straight out of comic book. But I decided to go into
That means that Nick wanted to be a snitch as a kid.
I was a snitch as a kid. It's not just a desire. It's fulfilled. Verniacus. Did he not mean a space? I would just die. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the last thing you said. Now my parents, I'm not sure if they ever straight up told me, like, I want you to be X, but they definitely would tell me stuff that they did want me to do. Like, I used to want to do, like, animation, or be, like, a writer, like, profession, like, a more, like, art-based job. And I do know that my parents would essentially, like, discourage that pretty heavily, like, the concept of, like, you should pursue, like, a quote-unquote, like, real job kind of thing, rather than to do, like, a more, like, artsy style.
Ready to get school?
So now I still do like art-based stuff when it comes to like writing and like making videos, like content creation. But I just don't do it as like my main source of income. It's more like a hobby kind of thing. So no, I don't think my parents ever told me that like they wanted me to be a specific thing, but they definitely would tell me whenever they didn't want me to do something. They also didn't want me to join the military.
That role said the parent-child relationship is one of those terrible hierarchies, filled with abuse and exploitation.
He summoned a fucking thing in the background. I didn't know that it was like a real like attack. I gotta pay attention to my environment to fight Brainiac, because some of his attacks are just not from him. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, for a period of time I wanted to join like the military, and my parents are very against that. They also didn't want me to like join the National Guard or anything along those lines. I wanted to be a police officer, and my mom was kind of hesitant about that. She worked for the sheriff department, but even she thought it would be kind of weird for me to be a police officer. And my dad certainly didn't like that. So a lot of jobs like that they were against.
To kill people.
Goodness. I mean, not necessarily to kill people, but to like help people. Kitty said, no, but
My collection is without
I have
peer.
watched storyline summaries,
Knowledge
but I do
and
want to
help,
read the full
not
story.
harm.
I have also
Begin.
seen like some comic story and videos on like some of the Injustice 2 comics, but haven't really read a lot of the Injustice 2 comics.
Bad wolf said help them by murdering people.
Good. Kitty said, aw, I'm glad you're writing and telling stories. You're so talented, and it's a joy to read your work. Oh, thank you, kindly Kitty. I appreciate your kind words. I'm glad that you vibe with what I've been working on, and I hope to release more stories soon. You're right. What's a normal day for them? Did you ask like during a specific time what it was? Oh, in college. I guess it depends on what year, actually. I noticed that when I was like first starting out in college, you could kind of get. I always sleep on the floor. That's regardless of college. But I feel like. Hold on a second, guys. Let Brainiac kill me real quick, and then I'll be able to focus slightly more. Oh yeah, daily routine in college. Earlier on in college, it's really easy to get classes planned like early on in the day. The further you go into college, the later at night, like you have to like get your classes set up. Like stuff just won't be available early in the day. So if I had like a lot of early classes, then I would wake up like really early. And then I would go like eat breakfast at like the Bethel Center or whatever, which is like.
Loveless said I think a man sleeping on the floor is kind of overrated.
I don't think sleeping on the floor is overrated. Is the food in college free? We had to pay for meal plans. It was not free. And if you were a freshman, a meal plan was required. Your meal plan determined how many meals you could get within a week, and you'd be essentially spending your meals whenever you like go to a
Mistakes
we had 2 cafeterias and one what the fuck do you call it? It's like the thing at the mall, and like one like food court.
Sleeping on the floor.
And then we also had like a few like restaurants on campus too. But essentially you could go there, some of them took meal plans, some of them took real money, some of them took like the university money, which is called like flex. But essentially what we would do is we would go and spend our meals at like the cafe. I personally really like the
My
Bible
collection
Center's
is without peer.
They were like a hotel on campus that had a like buffet or whatever. It was really good. I would eat at the Bethel Center, then I would go to my classes, but I wouldn't pay attention to what time it was. In case you guys don't know what I mean by that, essentially, instead of knowing when my classes were supposed to start, I would just go to my classes as early as possible because I knew what order they happened in, and I would wait in the classroom. Like, even if there was another class there, I would just sit in with that other class until my class started. And then once my class ended, I would just go to the next classroom and sit and wait in that one until, like, my school day was over. The computers at my university.
Bad wolf said meal plans feel like such a scam.
I mean, it depends on if like you just survive off them. Because I've spent years in college where it's like that's just what I ate. I only ate at college and I only used meal plans. I think if you're a commuter, you get kind of fucked over on meal plans because you're just going to be driving around and doing stuff. But if you live there, especially for some of the dorms that are connected to the caf, where you can literally like walk out your room, go down a hallway, go up some stairs, and you just eat food. I think the meal plans are perfectly fine. I just don't think they should be mandatory. I think that's the kind of like scam aspect. I don't think everyone should have to watch it. Yo.
Ready to get school?
My intelligence far exceeds yours.
That's what's called an alternative fact.
Begin.
Yeah, college is better than high school. There's a lot more freedom, I would say. In high school, your classes are like back to back. You don't have a lot of room to just like, after a class,
That wolf said mandatory is the point.
maybe,
Subsidize the cafe.
I lost my train of thought. Brainiac, like, beat the fuck out of me. So,
Accomplished.
also I gotta watch the time.
Wallace said all Jet wanted to do was punch people as a superhero.
I don't think punching people is the best way to be a hero. So when I did like my superhero stuff, what I would do is I would like patrol and report crime, specifically reporting non-violent crime to the authorities. If it was violent crime, which luckily I never really encountered violent crime, you would just call 911.
Bad Wolf said stitches you like.
Nah, I think killing is wrong. Well, it's interesting to say that killing is wrong. I understand why people kill, but at the same time, I don't think that was necessarily for me. That was one of my reservations about becoming a police officer.
Wallace said, have you ever got into a heated fight before?
A heated fight before? Yeah. Like where, like, you actually, like, throw hands. When I was younger,
My
I once
collection
ended
is
up in, like, a
without
really
peer.
big fight. And when I mean younger, I mean, like,
Not
9.
wrong.
But
Wallace said, have you fought criminals?
not like a hand-to-hand. That's not really what I was, like, trying to do with the crime with because I felt like if it was a thing where it's like, oh, it's like a dangerous situation.
Kill more head ass.
9 to film more. But yeah, when it comes to like reporting crime,
Wallace said magic.
the goal was to try and like report non-violent crime, and if it was violent crime, to try and get like innocent people out of the way if possible, and to of course just contact the authorities directly, like just like call 911 if it was like a like real emergency. I never had like a gun pulled on me or anything like that. But Black Ninja, one of the like crime fighters that was like in my group, who's appeared in a lot of my crime fighting videos, he's reportedly he's reportedly been not Phoenix Jones but Black Ninja in like a knife fight before, and he's had someone pull a gun on him before. Now when it comes to Phoenix Jones, never really kept too close attention to like what Phoenix Jones was up to. He's one of those real-life superheroes who got, like, super popular for whatever reason. I think it was because of, like, his crazy-looking suit. And also because, he has some kind of, like...
I just found out after a funny video.
And also that he had some kind of, like, base inside of a comic shop. There's, like, an interview where they follow Phoenix Jones to his, like, quote-unquote, like, hideout. And it's like behind a drawer, not a drawer, but like a shelf of comics or something. He like enters a room, and I don't think they follow him. But I thought that was interesting. Again, I didn't really keep up with Phoenix Jones. I do know that he got into some kind of legal trouble, like he went to court for something. But he's not like one of the like quote unquote real life superheroes that like I spent a lot of time like talking to or interacting with. After this one, because Brainiac just has my number on this one, like I'm just gonna die. I'm gonna have to end the stream mainly because I have a date in like 8 minutes, so I'm gonna like get ready for that. I apologize I wasn't able to whoop Brainiac's ass, but don't worry, next time I got your number. Yo, Rapkin. I heard you say date with a girl, but I missed the first part of what you said. Yes, I have a date with a girl. Let's see. Kitty said Brainiac is OP. Kitty said Bowser would beat Brainiac. Stop saying Bowser's that good. I gotta look up a respect thread on Bowser. I don't think he's that good. What were you saying, Rapkin? Did you say good night or good luck? Oh, good night? Oh, thank you kindly. I appreciate it, my dude. I'm about to do like a sign up where everybody can do like the list off. Godzilla said Ridley would beat Bowser. Now we're talking about just Smash Brothers stuff. Maybe Bowser's better than I think. I don't know. Rap King said this feels like a podcast. It kind of is a podcast, Rap King. But thank you all for watching. If you guys... Oh, I missed the last thing you said. I'm sorry, my dude.
I was just saying Bowser really didn't think it.
Okay. I guess we'll see, because I keep saying that Bowser isn't that good, but I feel like I could probably find a respect thread where Bowser in like one game did something like really like crazy, and then you could apply that to like his feats, and maybe he's really powerful. I don't know. I could do a video about Bowser fighting somebody, and we could like talk about it. That might be fun. Excuse me. Let's see. But thank you all for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring the notification bell. Be notified when I do these videos. It's your friend, your boy, JetBlack one only here with. I see Mike's like not Mike. I see Volt's mic like flashing up, but I don't actually hear him saying anything.
Bad Wolf said
Oh,
silence.
yes, sorry.
Globula said blah 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 blue.
Might be being a little weird right now. Hope you have a good night. This was Volt. In jet stream. Yeah, nice.
Ballin'.
Globula said Volt moment.
Ryan said.
Bad Wolf said grob gob blob broad.
Ryan said silence earlier, and Godzilla said a bunch of random noises, but I guess that's gonna be the sign out. Kitty said Bowser is amazing. We'll see. We'll see. And Godzilla said, what do you mean Smash Bros? Ridley and Bowser are in Smash Bros. But anyways, peace guys. Peace about.